Gather, veterans. It's time to join the fight. The long war begins.
This is The Long War. I'm Robbie B, and joining me once again are my partners in crime, Kenny Boucher, Stephen Ford, and Mike Haspel. What's up, guys?
Yo, dog, great to be here.
Yo, what's happening, everybody?
What's happening?
So once again, the seas are salty. I just want to play with my toys.
What do we call it? Sea captains?
Yeah.
It's definitely the rise of the sea captains. No, I don't know. I sometimes question some of the order of operations on a certain company's part, but last week we recorded a very exciting battle report using Titanicus, full-scale Titanicus game. I'm sure that'll be out soon, where we use the actual large Titans from Forge World to play a game of Titanicus. Now I feel a little guilty about it.
Dude, I want you to know, so we set this unicorn game up with these amazing models at the Beats Lab Gaming. That is the IRL Beats Lab in Southern Pines, Aberdeen, North Carolina. Southern Pines / Aberdeen, right? So new store just opening up that me and my buddy are doing. We're so excited. It is amazing. Soft opening coming up this weekend. Let me tell you, when Robbie B came through, and I'm talking about a gaggle of guys had to come out and bring these models to bear. And the girth of these models on the table are unbelievable. I'm talking about, Robbie B, you have an addiction. It's called large model syndrome. There might have been on the upwards of $16,000 of models on the table. Like, I mean, it was a glorious sight to see.
Yo, I am.
So you should clarify. Oh, sorry, Kenny. Go ahead.
No worries. I'm actually in the process of editing that video. So that video is not out yet. I have all the data. It's a lot to go through because a lot of things happen in that game, but that will be the very next battle report out on the longwar.net, and the longwar.net still going through some growing pains while the site expands, I believe, Rob.
Yep. This week, I think we hope to have the content management system rolled out for cataloging all the videos and such a little bit better over the past 2 years worth of content. And we've made a lot of progress on some of the issues we've had. It's kind of like a flowchart thing. Like there's little cosmetic things on the site that, the images don't quite work the way they should, but we just had we have to build the foundation before we can get to the little cosmetic stuff. So hopefully we'll kind of patch some of that up next week. But yep, a lot of big changes coming. If you have any problems logging in or can't get to the pages or you're getting timed out, just, email us, support at Spikey Bits or 40klongwar@gmail.com, I think. And, we'll help you. We'll take a look. So as far as the big game, so to speak, goes, I mean, it was super fun, and it was really cool to see all that stuff on the tabletop and play it out using the Titanicus rules. And we scaled it up using the Apocalypse templates for the 5-inch.
Oh, so see, when you said you played a thing of Titanicus, I thought you were just doing a battle report of Titanicus, but you did it with like 28 millimeter scale Titans.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. We had a maniple of Imperial Titans. So we had a Warlord, a Reaver, and a Warhound. The Warlord was painted by Dark Bunny Creatives for us to use in this, and we're going to showcase it some more. And on the opposing force was our Eldar contingent, which was a Phantom and 2 Revenants, but we just used it as the rules for our Warlord and 2 Warhounds. And then for Knights, we had Wraith Knights as Imperial Knights, as a banner of Imperial Knights, and a banner of full-scale Imperial Knights as Imperial Knights. Now appearing as Imperial Knights. Who knew? That was great. But, after the events of today, I feel, well, I'm glad I have those models because it just went all up 20% in value. But I kind of feel guilty for owning them.
Yo, legitimately, I talked to people about my $12,000 Rolex that I want. Like, the Batman Black and Blue Deep Sea Dwellers. So $12,000. And people think I'm crazy. And then I looked around at this table and I was like, Rob Beer, you legitimately might have an addiction. This is not a fairy tale.
I mean, I've been collecting a lot of those models for quite a number of years. You know, people forget.
This is amazing.
People don't even know that, like, Rob, like, those Titans are actually like Rob's like money lending. Like some of those Titans have been sold to pay rent, then purchased back to from somebody else so they can pay rent.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was like literally a pawn shop. Like Rob's pawned those to stay afloat, and then then was the person letting somebody else pawn to him. Like they represent a very special time in your life.
I mean, you got to adapt and overcome, and that's what makes life exciting. And that's I really like playing that. Like playing a big game like that, it was really fun, and to record it and be part of it. I mean, I would have liked to play it, but somebody's got to hold the camera. But I think we had a blast.
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, going through and editing it, at first I was a little taken out of it when you guys were like, all this Eldar shit's not Eldar shit. And I was like, and then you were like, because there is no other shit besides Imperial shit right now in Titanicus. And we're like, so like, first off, who's going to have all these models doubled? That's dumb. What a redundant collection, right? And also, I was so happy once it began, like that I was able to immediately suspend disbelief and just be like, it's Eldar versus the Imperium. It was super good.
I mean, you can represent whatever you want, you know, as long as you have something about the right scale to represent it. Like you can't represent a Warhound with anything else besides something the size of a Warlord with something else besides the next biggest thing, or actually something bigger than a Warlord. So I think we did it right. It was good.
No, I absolutely loved it. My favorite part was to bring it back full circle with the new GW. Amazing kits, by the way, of the miniature Night Titans, and the baby Warlord Knight was unreal standing next to the real things. I mean, I couldn't even, it was mind blowing, to be honest. Like the baby Knights, I was like, there are 40 mil bases. I'm like, I want an entire army. Like I want every one of my intercessors to look like this. I want all my Terminators to be these guys now, you know. It was pretty solid.
We had a lot of stuff from was it Europe GW Open Day or something?
Oh yeah, they had a lot of previews. There was some sprues. They put out some sprue pics of. I guess one site was like, "Hey, check out these pics. It's the Warhound," and I was like, In the background is the Reaver too. For Titanicus, if I had to guess, I would say they're going to come out once a quarter, kind of like the whole Blood Bowl, the whole specialist game stuff, like coming out once a quarter type deal, because it lets them take pressure off, putting out new 40K and Sigmar. Then of course there were some rumors today, everybody probably heard, about some Demon Princes might be coming out, Fulgrim and or Angron. Supposedly Grot armies in September. They might announce it next week at Nova. What was the November thing? Rogue Trader in November for the big, which I don't know, would be pretty cool.
Yeah, and they showed more about the Lord of the Rings starter box and how it comes with a hardcover rule book. I'm like, that for me, for that, I'm not getting it and everything. But those models they're 28 millimeter true scale, so they're a little bit smaller than like Age of Sigmar and 40K. But they are some of the best models that GW has ever put out. And then they said in the box set, you get the hardcover rule book for the Middle Earth strategy battle game. And for me, I just went, well, that pushed me over the edge. I was just like, okay, that's it. I'm gonna buy that box set. You get a bunch of like orcs, troll, witch king on fell beast.
That's cool.
You get Theoden,
new Theoden.
New Theoden. Yeah, it's not an old sculpt. You get a bunch of Rohirrim.
Mad respect that they're going back to Lord of the Rings and leaving the Hobbit behind.
Well, it's the same. It's a very, very similar rule set. Like really, really same. So that's why they're calling it like the Middle Earth strategy battle game now. because it's pretty much the same. And then they're going to put out the extra book, and I don't remember what they're calling it, but it's essentially all the army lists. You know, it's essentially like an index for all the armies in the game, so that you can run whatever you want to run.
I'm doing it. I'm absolutely going
It's a great game. It's more of a skirmish game than say 40K or Age of Sigmar. War of the Ring, which was an excellent rule set, but nobody plays it, was more of their big war game, and a lot of those rules actually got absorbed into the 8th edition of Warhammer Fantasy Battles. You know, poor 40 out for that game. Oh well. But so I'm sorry, Rob. The other thing that got me all spun up was they announced Shadespire Season 2.
Yep.
It's called Night Vault. We don't know anything else about it, except that it's called Night Vault. And I was like, whoa, okay.
Haskell, I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Where is Shadespire at before Season 2 or 2nd edition comes out? Where is Shadespire at as a community? In my opinion, all I heard, we were in California in, was it February? Or January, something like that. And it was like hot and heavy, and it was 4 months of nothing but Shadespire. Where is the state of Shadespire at right now, and is it still a thing?
I think it's still doing really, really well. They had to nerf one very, very powerful build. They may have over-nerfed it, and that was the relic build for people that play. They may have overcorrected on that because now it's hardly anybody plays it. But honestly, I can't comment super strongly on how like my local scene is going, because I've been out of gaming since April. I haven't been able to do anything. So I'm hoping that, it's gotten so bad that I'm hoping that I can get back into like one session of D&D this Sunday. I've been so busy that I've literally not. And Robert, if you're listening, I still have your Shadespire stuff, and I've been painting about one fig every like 2 weeks. So I have not forgotten, dude. I'm gonna get you your stuff. But it's been real. It's been really hard. But I think Shadespire is still doing well. It's just everything for it is out right now. So the season 1 is kind of set, you know what I mean? And they injected some new life into it with the leader cards and the new boards, but I have not had a chance to play them. So I really can't comment on those. But I still think it's a phenomenal game, and especially at the price point that it's at, it's just it's so much fun. And so I'm excited for a season 2. I would like to hope that it is backwards compatible, but if it's not, I could see, hey, we're going to play this in Shadespire and this next one's in the Night Vault or something. I don't know.
As far as the Pelennor Fields box goes, we broke down the values on it, and without the main rulebook in it, it's $310 retail value. So the MSRP on it is $150. So close to $400 with the rulebook.
Well, yeah, and for me, when I didn't know which rulebook was coming in there, I thought it might just have like just the rules that you need just to play the figs that are in the box, like they normally do. But when they said there was a full hardcover rule book for the Middle Earth strategy battle game, I'm like, that's an auto buy for me.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I never wind up playing it, that's an auto buy. I have to have it.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's a solid value for sure. Oops, put that. I'm actually going to put that in here as a to sell for revisit as an article. So let's run down the new releases. So we got the Kill Team Mortali plastic box, $60. The Slicing Noose, that's the original Kill Team, the Deathwatch Kill Team. Slicing Noose for $50. And these come with those Eldar, the kind of like creepy forest terrain, which kind of different looking. I'm not sure what the value is on those. when it comes to breaking them apart, because I think that the big super box was like $150 of all this Eldar terrain.
Is this going to be another super box? What's your prediction there?
For the kill teams?
Yeah, value wise, like what are you thinking?
No, it's just like a unit and like a sprue of terrain. So it's like kind of meh. But if you're playing kill team, you're gonna get the cards, the tokens for Death Watch, the upgrade, or excuse me, the objectives, all the like, cool visual stuff that really helps out. So that's pretty cool. Then, of course, there's the Dark Eldar dice, the Death Watch dice, Killzone Death World Forest, which is like a bundle of that terrain for $80. So those generally seem to be like a start collecting box, like for terrain. So it's $80, but you get like $135 worth of stuff. So yeah, there's that. And then on the Lord of the Rings side of things, we just talked about it. The Battle of Pelennor Fields for $150. They also have dice sets for $12.50 each. One for One Ring, Mordor, and Rohan.
I totally ordered that One Ring dice set, which, because it's gold, probably will never be used with my Custodes ever. I'll be like, One Ring, son. Unlimited power.
Is that a Lord of the Ring joke?
No, it's actually a Revenge of the Sith joke. I was like jumping like 4 franchises. It's cool. It's all right.
Stay with me here. Stay with me here. Those are the big new releases for next week. And then like I said, we kind of heard Grot Timber, Rogue Vember, and Angron Sember. I don't know. Somebody came up with a much flashier name. I forget exactly what it was, but that's the big rumor on the street. But we'll find out more at Nova Open coming up next week. The big GW preview, which of course
they're doing a preview there now too. That's kind of cool.
They did one last year there.
Yeah.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I didn't know.
They did a big one there last year, and that caused us a lot of heartache on the internet.
Oh,
I mean, it's not like GW puts out all the stuff like an hour after the event, anyways, like on there. So
yeah. They put out a sprue, or not a sprue, but like a preview of the weapons that the Sisters of Battle are going to get. And there were some really cool swords looking there, and they kind of caused a little debate because they had one of the bolt guns that they showed was absolutely a Primaris bolt gun. And so people were like, wait, are there going to be Primaris sisters? Which I'm like, could be dope and could easily be explained by Belisarius Call going, hey, I figured out a way to load gene seed into women. You know what I mean? But I think
careful how you phrase that in the future.
Truth. Oh, I did not mean that. Now we're going to get banned. Damn it. All right.
I know you didn't mean that.
But yeah, that was really bad. Now I think about it, I apologize.
I mean, we've said worse totally in passing.
Literally, we've had worse.
Wow, that was if I had planned that, I couldn't have said it. Wow. But yeah, anyway, it was. This is only going to get worse now.
I know. There's no backpedaling. Just keep going.
It was essentially a size comparison.
Oh, okay.
A Primaris bolt gun and the sisters. Damn it. Okay, whatever.
Yeah. There's nothing that you can come back. There's nothing I can't.
We got it. Check out the weapons and see.
Yeah, just walk away.
Baller serious. He fist bumped Celestine. He's like, yeah, I got you, girl. We get you some new reinforcements.
We make ship happen.
And then the other thing they announced too was, I guess, the Conquest, which is kind of GW's answer, sort of like Loot Crate, where it's a subscription service and you get a bunch of stuff. But
in a magazine.
Yeah, it's cool, but it's UK only. So
for now,
I was like,
they said it may be coming out, but
and GW, if you are listening, which I doubt, if you release that in the US, I have like thousands and thousands of dollars of your product, and I would buy that, like, just to get it. So if that's if that's a consideration.
Yeah, I mean,
You heard it
Office
here
does make
first. GW, Mike Haspel says he would buy it. So please
It
let
would be
that,
like,
if you are like, if it's like right here in the office, you know what I mean? Like they're like, not sure. It's like, split vote. I feel like Haspel is one of the most reliable, most reasonable persons on the earth to help you sway that. Like, as a matter of fact, we just got out of a very reasonably phrased discussion about your product, not even 5 seconds ago. So hopefully,
I actually think that the moral of Haspel's story was size does matter.
Yeah. True.
That's all I heard. Size does matter.
so on the product side from Games Workshop 2, they rolled out a new service today where you can purchase Forge World items here in the States, and they'll be mailed to you here in the States. You can no longer purchase them from Great Britain, have your money converted from US dollars to Great Britain pounds, and then shipped over here from England. They will now be shipped out of Memphis here in the States. I'm not sure how it is for Canada or anything like that because I didn't really research it. We just went ahead and kind of duplicated our post from 2 weeks ago, which was titled Why Forge World's New Plan May Be Bad for Us. And here's why I thought it would be bad for us at the time is because if you go and price items on the UK site and then convert the Great Britain pound price to the US dollar price, there is about a 20% difference higher for the US dollar items than there is getting them from the UK. So lo and behold, today, when they announced a big rollout, hey, you can save some money if you order from us. There's a free $120 threshold, free shipping threshold. Come on in, buy your stuff. I was like, cool, let's price some stuff out. And lo and behold, on average, it seemed like everything we checked and we put it in the post that is about 20% higher now here in the States. So if you wanted Forge World, it's going to be about 20% more here in the state.
wait, can you make it even more simpler for me? It seems like you said if I buy it, it's 20% more.
Yes.
Confirm?
Okay, here, I'll put it in. I'm going to put it in Kenny Boucher title this for you. Are you ready? Making millions of dollars overnight is secretly easy.
Got it.
Forge World, in essence, stealth raised all of their prices for the US dollar overnight. For instance, such things, and you can check out the article on spikybits.com, like a Leviathan Dreadnought fully kitted out, I think went from being $92 if you bought it yesterday. Of course, this is Wednesday, the day it happened. Went from being $92 for Hound Titan. I actually have the specifics right here. The Warlord Titan went from being $1,670 just for the Titan and enough weapons to actually field it to $2,000 flat. That's a increase of roughly $330 literally overnight. And I don't think it's a good thing, and here's why. Because we've seen over the past 2 years that Games Workshop has come in. They started giving product to sites, giving product to YouTube channels, giving product out here and there. And you never hear these folks saying anything bad about, you don't hear any of these folks saying, oh, hey, maybe the Space Wolf Codex isn't as good as some of the other books. You won't hear that from anybody. Oh, they're like, oh, it's great, and here's the positive things, and that's fine. That's their prerogative. Everybody that got it, their review is literally wrong because all the Warlord traits, but that's besides the point. They've already replaced all that stuff. But here's the thing is that Games Workshop gives all this stuff out to all these, various organizations, from events out there to sites to YouTube channels and such. And nobody says anything bad. Nobody even covered this. Like here's our title on Spikey Bits for what happened for the events today. And it was Forge World raises prices substantially for US customers. Here is the same article. Well, not the same article, but the same coverage of the same event on a different website. And that is Forge World goes local with currency. This same site, of course, gets their stuff way early from Games Workshop, does reviews, et cetera, et cetera. So the problem with this is that if Games Workshop is giving all this stuff out to folks and basically compensating them, they're on the payroll. They're basically on the payroll. And they have to be like, do I really want to like speak out against Games Workshop? Maybe, just raising all their prices 20% across the board overnight. Doesn't seem like anybody did. And that's a very dangerous thing in any world, in any hobby, in any environment out there.
I agree. It's messed up. However, I mean, I said this in the pregame too, that it was like, that, if GW can make rule sets that people really want so that they can auto win, or gives them such a significant in the game advantage in the game that they need this particular product and people are willing to pay more for it, then they should charge more. I think it's a little shady the way they did it, because I was super pumped that, hey, I don't have to pay for shipping from the UK anymore. So I was going to order more. I don't order a lot of Forge World now, because usually the stuff I order are just, Rhino doors or Land Raider doors or shoulder pads or, decal sheets. And I don't want to sit there and pay that and insane shipping from the UK that sometimes is more expensive than the product that I'm ordering to get it. So I was really pumped. I'm like, hey, they're in Memphis. I'll be able to get my stuff. But now they just price hiked it to the point that I'm like, well, I'm just not going to get it again.
So I kind of went off on a little tangent during the webcast too. So I'm going to try to bring some of that same tenacity to the show here right now. It's like, in my opinion, I actually have no problem. I have to make sure I choose my words carefully. I believe I don't have a problem with what GW did, period. I also believe that the true problem is with Games Workshop. We can all say that they're the same company, but they fly under different umbrellas, under different names. They might have the same CEO and they might have the same Monday meetings, but guess what? They have a different name. I have multiple companies. Each one has a different name. I use some of the same employees for both companies, but either way, for all intents and purposes, they're different companies. My problem that I say that I have with GW is that they have outcosted themselves over the last 6 years. The price hikes that they have been doing, in all reality, why are we even shocked about this? That Forge World, I don't even want to say competitor, but their counterpart is supposed to be the premier miniatures company, where GW, we already know GW is like the number one, right? But we always joke that if you play 30K, if you play, Forge World based games, that those are the Cadillacs. Those are the true 1% gamers that can get involved and truly be able to afford.
It's supposed to be your premier product. Yeah.
Right. How in the hell is a Knight Castellan that just came out $175? What do you expect? What do you expect that the premier, the specific resin molds and the all this and that comes with Forge World, what are they supposed to do? Mm-hmm. The price hike has to be coming. And the precedent has been set by GW. So I don't even know if I can blame Forge World for it. And for anybody who believes that and Haspel, you and I had different trends of thought on it, but I believe that in the competitive scene, because GW has embedded themselves in it, that I believe that Forge World is an absolute must. And I believe that they're a must because codexes like Eldari exist. So if you remove Eldari from the game, then yes, immediately get rid of Forge World. Mm-hmm. But me as a NID player, me as a guard player, me as some of the other things that are out there, and I use the word guard loosely because I don't want to say that there's some victims here in the same breath as NIDs, because guards have I mean, they have some combos that are potentially just as abusive as Eldari does. But my statement still remains the same. GW has embedded themselves in the tournament scene. They are taking over certain aspects of the game. They are leveraging the prices of their models even higher. Their customers and consumers are paying it. The next chain of events at the dominoes that fall is Forge World jacking up their prices, because under every circumstance that is ever created, Forge World has always been a substantially amount higher than GW.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And when you have all these events now, but requiring the actual Forge World model and no conversions that are approved, is Games Workshop pressuring these events to do that?
Yeah,
like,
I mean, that's what we said. That's obvious. Like GW is embedded themselves in the community. They have given early and exclusive VIP access to many influencers, and those people get to experience the temporary high of feeling like they're on top or special.
That Senpai has noticed them.
Yeah, and GW has then therefore created a relationship where they're beholden to them. Therefore, they start passing down rules. And I mean, nothing they're doing is illegal. Nothing they're doing is even like objectively immoral in business. It's all pretty standard operating procedure. The part that sucks is that like this is a game company that holds themselves to all these like game theory standards. So they talk about how they make models. They don't make rules to sell models and all the shit they've been telling us for all these years. So it's pretty disappointing at the end of the day. Like, it's not illegal. It's not even shady. It's just super disappointing. A game company that's always talking about how like we're this big company, but we still have small company ideals and everything. It's like, damn, dog, you're going to hit me like that? Like, you're going to come in here and you're going to put out this like 3-week press campaign about how we're not going to have to spend all this money on Forge World models and how it's going to be awesome. But then when you go back in time and read it, you realize it was cleverly worded and never said you were going to get a fucking discount. They never even said it was going to be cheaper. You know what I mean? When you realize that like over the course of the few weeks they've been like getting us hype on it, they knew the entire time that they were just trying to create an excess of positivity to battle the negativity that would come.
The real issue is, Kenny, that in many ways the old way is cheaper. You know what I mean? Like it's not even that it's not even that we were expecting a discount. It was just like, hey, we're not going to deal with European VAT tax and shipping. But now, in a lot of cases, if I ordered from the UK Forge World site, it's cheaper than ordering from the US. Pretty
much every case. Yeah. But you can't now. You have to select delivered to the US, and you have no choice. There's no way to do that anymore. And here's the thing. It's by them embedding themselves, and it's almost like the One Ring where they give out the rings, and now everybody's like, oh, well, damn, I got it, right?
Very good. Very good.
So not only do they not have to come up with the infrastructure for all this tournaments and all this thing.
Quick question: was that a Star Wars reference?
Yes.
Okay, just checking.
Star Prize Intership. So not only do they have to do all that, they get to save the cost and they just get to fly a couple people out. But do they get to fly a couple people out? Because we all know what they said last year. They said they require the events to pay for the tickets for their community folks to come out to attend these events. So literally, it's an exchange of merch for them paying for these dudes coming out, like for prize supports and stuff. And then the folks that review or the influencers that talk about these products and stuff ahead of times and do these battle reports and all these other things like that. Now they're beholden to Games Workshop. They're not going to talk out.
Yeah, we call that. I feel like we're a broken record now. I think we have come full circle back to like the very beginning.
I was trying to get to my actual point.
Just trying to keep you driven because I know you're super passionate about this subject. Continue, please.
I am super passionate about the point. My point is that Games Workshop builds themselves as a community. They have this Warhammer community. They have community folks. You cannot create a community like this and then just overnight turn up the prices and spit in your community's face and be like, but it's cool because we can ship local and we got this limited time event and it's all good. And then you literally see everybody fall in line with this story. It's troublesome.
No, so my main thing, we call that being in bed, being on payroll with a company, right? So that is one thing. They have a lot of people in the community that are play testers that are this. And obviously because of that, they won't say anything. In all reality, I promise you this one thing, GW, it seems, and I know you're listening, we probably have our own part-time employee that part of their job is to listen to our show on the podcast. They're probably, this and this because, we know some things, but you know what, guys, literally we're always going to call bullshit if we see bullshit. That's just a fact. It doesn't matter. The Rock said it best. It doesn't matter how much I love the game. If you go back and listen to the earlier show, I have already expressed, GW, I don't give a damn what you do. If you tell me that models that only count for my next tournament, they only count if they were bought on Tuesday between 6 and 8 at your local hobby shop, guess what? I'm throwing every one of my models away. I'm going to be pissing and moaning about it, but I'm going to buy my models at my local hobby shop between 6 and 8. I am that committed. But if you think that we're going to stand by and not say, guess what? This is bullshit. You guys did this under false shitteries, whatever verbiage we want to use in there, right? Like,
can I get that added to the list, Haspel, of
yes,
of official Englishing?
Yes,
shitteries. True definition. To come. Not right now. But no, we've got to call them out on it. GW, you make an amazing product. We love playing the game. This is not an official GW bash session. This is just what we find ourselves in, is another predicament where we have to say, GW, wrong. You should not have done these. You should not have been raising the price on models this entire time. You should not be selling $175 kits. You should not force Forge World to be even higher using whatever reason you want behind it, right?
Sorry,
so either way,
I'm back to an earlier statement where I'm not saying I'm not bitching. Was that the other?
I feel like at some point in the night I might have said I'm not bitching.
I'm not saying I'm not bitching.
Yeah, I'm not saying the long war.
I'm not saying, we got Haspel is definitely the chronicler. He's keeping track of all these ridiculous things.
There it is. Somebody has to.
Yes, but
I think we pretty much brought it full circle. Everybody's aware of the situation, and we'll go from here. We'll see what the response is. But judging by Facebook, it has been the most polarizing issue I've seen ever on Games Workshop.
And the last thing I want to say about it is because of the fact that it affects so many people. Guys, how many times are we talking about an issue and Haspel is going off about Grey Knights? Well, that's only 10% of the 40K community
I thought you were going to say
Grey Knights.
10 people.
Yeah,
no, yeah, percent.
It is now,
right? So that's only a small percent, and the rest of the community is like, "Oh, come on, you guys had your time, right?" Well, and then we talk about, "Oh, well, there's a codex dropped, AdMech, and it killed Warcon," and 60% of the community is like, "Yeah, well, you guys never deserved all that free shit anyway, right?" So like, but in all reality, this is like a epic proportion, because so many people are pissed off against so many different factions, against so many even.
Were you looking for the word
40K?
Were you looking for like the word universally affects or like unanimously affects?
It affects all their product ranges.
Like, unanimous is definitely one of the ones I was going for, but like it's all of their ranges, right? Mm-hmm. Not just 40K. Age of Sigmar.
Yeah, Sigmar, 40K, Necromunda.
30K. Has anybody, 30K. Have we even got confirmation that there's any 30K members left?
No, this will kill 30K on the vine. It's done.
Right. So this is what I mean. Like, we haven't seen something so strong come to the game where so many people from different groups can get behind. I mean, this is tough. This is going to be a tough one to come back from.
Sure enough. So let's keep it moving. Let's hit that commercial break. Let's come back and let's review the obviously flawless, most OP codex yet to drop. Finally, the Long War swag is here. LongWarSwag.com, the official home of Long War merchandise. We've got a range of merchandise exclusive to the Long War brand, Next Level Painting and Spikey Bits. Definitely log in today while supplies lasts. Veterans, I've got news for you. Get your best deals online at dicehead.com. Long War Vets, call or email for your best vet deals. That's dicehead.com. elricshobbies.com is your exclusive portal to upgrading your hobby. When you sign up at thelongwar.net, you gain an instant promotional discount good for 10% off at Elric's Hobbies. elricshobbies.com.
Dear veterans, quickly, make your way to thelongwar.net and find out how to reap your hard-earned spoils of this long war. For our allies at secretweaponsminiatures.com have rewarded us all with an extra 10% discount on all Secret Weapon Miniatures merchandise. So stock up, dear veterans, and enjoy.
Well, the Space Wolf Codex is already been updated. If you haven't downloaded the new Warlord traits, make sure you get this sheet right here. I know you can't see me on the podcast, but I'm showing it to the webcast here. And it prints out. It conveniently prints out in all black ink too. so
you can tag on your $40 ink cartridge cost to that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's all right though. So they updated, they kind of work. The warlord traits kind of bubble out if they perform a deed of legend, but everything around them is not eligible to receive these boons until the end of that phase. So you can't like start combat and like kill somebody and then automatically everybody next time you swing gets these benefits. So it's a little tricky to pull off, but once you do it, they get it. So just a quick update if you haven't read this yet. The first one, Saga of the Warrior Born. You can always choose to fight first, even if they didn't charge. Then there's a tiebreaker with it. If the enemy has units that have charged or have a similar ability, then you alternate. The only thing to activate this as an aura ability is slay an enemy character with your warlord. So seems easy in theory, but then again, it doesn't activate until the next turn or the end of that phase. Saga of the Wolfkin. If a unit is affected by the saga in the fight phase, add 1 to the attack characteristic of all its models. If it made a charge move, was charged, or performed a heroic intervention earlier or in the same turn, to activate it, you have to slay 5 models in the fight phase with your warlord. So,
gosh, that's like, is this 2 out of 3 so far that you've said where there's a stipulation to a warlord trait?
Well, they always get it. It's just to turn it into an aura, they have to perform the deed.
No, I was about to be like, this is the worst line of garbage warlord traits I've ever heard. But so
yeah, I don't even understand. Like most other warlord traits are just like without giving up the deed.
So these are the worst ones because so what he's saying is that like that special bonus applies to the warlord, and then when he does the deed, it applies to a bubble of people.
Right.
So that's awesome.
Yes.
But the worst kind of warlord traits on average are the ones that are like, I'm just a little better, right?
Yeah.
So like they're awesome until you activate. I mean, they're shitty until you activate. They're like the shittiest type of warlord trait. Like, oh, I'm just better, but nobody else is better. Oh, but wait, now everyone else is better. The next the next turn, basically.
But that's the thing is most of these traits and stuff, it always has some sort of aura, like the warlord in his unit or the warlord and dudes around him or whatever. You know, so like, I don't know. We can go through them all, but we probably don't need to. It's a free download. You know, just be aware that that page is already irrelevant in the English printing of it. So it's a little frustrating.
I think that's the most important thing is like warlord traits immediately. There's a new print. Go get it. It's not a sticker, even though we thought it was. It's just a ridiculous all black background. Don't print it out until you inverse the document on your inkjet printer because that will cost you more money than the fucking codex.
It may. As far as the relics of the fan go, there are only 6 of them, unfortunately. The cool one I think that everybody's going to be interested in was the Armor of Rust, and that confers a 4-up invulnerable save, but strangely enough, it's probably not what people are going to take it for. In addition, at the start of the fight phase, choose an enemy unit within one of this model. That unit cannot be chosen to fight in the fight phase until all other units are able to fight have done so.
One of the most powerful universal
That's
special
amazing.
rules there are. That is unbelievable. I would even say that it could be even more powerful than no Overwatch.
It's definitely strong from the fact that they can heroically intervene, move up 6, and then they say, "Oh, it's fight phase now." Boom.
No, it's brutal. It's amazing. That's one of the single coolest relics out there, especially when you inject it into the overall theme of the decks, which is a lot of buffs in close combat and fight phase.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's good.
Yeah, and last thing to go on it is how many times with the index and whatnot we've seen some of the flair moved away from the Space Wolves, right? Like some of their things didn't kind of add up compared to like wolf tooth necklaces of old and whatnot. Mm-hmm. This reminds me of 5th edition Space Wolves.
Yeah, it's definitely something to keep track of. Now, as far as the stratagems go, there's a decent amount of them. I don't know exactly how many, but definitely over 20. We can run them down. And then me and Juice were talking about the Wolf Guard battle leader, which is really interesting. We kind of touched on it last week, but it looks like he might be a contender here still.
Yeah, I mean, if it's still the same thing, Thunderhammer, Storm Shield, Jump Pack, and he gets all those attacks and he lets people reroll wounds. And then their trait is +1 to hit in the fight phase, so he doesn't in the first round of combat, so he doesn't really suffer the negatives for Thunderhammer, and he can heroically intervene 6 inches. Like that dude
for $114.
Yeah.
That is the exact same cost as a Blood Angels Bane Guineas without a Storm Shield, and this hobo gets the Storm Shield. So this is impressive.
Yeah, I think that's.
Yeah, we broke that down in detail last episode. So definitely tune in for that breakdown. It's just gotten better with this list of stratagems that Rob is about to break down for us.
Yes. 1 second. All right. So we got the normal orbital bombardment for 3 CPs. If you have once for battle.
So on. They've got like the 6 standard all Space Marines have stratagems or whatever.
Yeah, they got all that stuff. So they got the orbital bombardment, kill shot, flak missile, wisdom of the ancients. They've got your relic stratagem, the 1 to 3 CP one. That's pretty easy. Linebreaker bombardment. They have, of course, something that Banguinius players are going to be familiar with: the honor the chapter, and only in death does duty end. Yeah,
all the standard Astartes ones. Cool. Let's go. Let's do some unique ones.
Yep.
The standard Astartes ones are pretty good.
So first up is overwhelming impetuosity. I forgot. How do you say that, Haspel?
Impotent.
I don't know. You'd have to spell it. I don't know how it's.
Overwhelming. It's IMPETUOSITY.
Impetuosity.
Impetuosity. I was so close.
Impetuosity.
I saw myself saying that better in my brain. Use the stratagem at the start of the fight phase. Select a Blood Claws unit from your army that successfully charged this turn and is within 1 inch of an enemy unit with a higher power rating. That's not hard to do. You can reroll failed to hit rolls for the Blood Claws units attacks that target that enemy unit.
One CP.
1 CP.
Okay, that's useful. I can see. I guess that's in a pinch. That might be a thing.
Yeah, I mean, Blood Claws. There's ways to bump them up with the Wolfen, have their bubble at 12 inches, Blood Claw keyword. Remember, Blood Claw keyword applies to the Swift Claws. Those are the jump packers. And
that's the bikes. Sky Claws are the jump packers.
Okay, right. Sky Claws and Swift Claws. So those are all Blood Claws. And the bikers move 14, if I'm not mistaken. And the jump packs
bikes move 14 and 40K.
Yeah, so like that's significant speed right there. They can also reroll charge distances too. So lots of stuff to consider. Yeah,
it's a valuable. It's not useless. It's valuable, but situational.
3 CPs is Cloaked by the Storm. I could see this seeing a lot of play. Use this in your psychic phase. Choose a rune priest from your army that successfully manifested a psychic power in this phase. Your opponent must subtract 1 from all hit rolls for ranged attacks that target friendly Space Wolf units within 6 of this model.
Oh my god.
Until the beginning of your next psychic phase.
Let me tell you why I don't like this. You have to first successfully cast a psychic ability. I'm not saying that that's hard to do, but why for something for 3 CP do I have to have a stipulation? Are you kidding me? Also,
Do you successfully cast first, then pay the points, or pay the points?
That's what it sounded like. Read it one more time, Robbie B.
You just have to successfully cast a psychic power.
Any psychic ability.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I don't like the fact that
you don't have to play it until they manifest it.
Either way, I'm just saying I don't like for 3 CP. As of yet, we have seen 3 CP stratagems be the hammer, stupid dives, swing twice with no other anything like. So I'm with you on it. This.
I'm with you on it. I hate when there's a fail rate. So a fail rate on a stratagem is silly, but also -1 to hit is not that big of a deal. Like,
no, it's not like that. That was the other. I was just standing to my one point, let alone -1 to hit. I would just rather spend 70 points and get a -1 to hit bubble. From a character, I'd rather spend 110 points instead of 3 valuable CP.
But don't get it twisted. Like, I mean, if I build my army right, and I have the right kind of units, I will certainly consider using the stratagem. It's not on the don't ever use it list. It's on the situational, has a fail rate, kind of expensive, but still has playlist.
Yeah, it absolutely does. If this was in like -1 to hit or from a psyker within, 6 inches of him, everybody's -1 that happens in your opponent shooting phase, definitely worth 3 CP. But either way, this stratagem bothered me. Sorry about that.
No, I think it's expensive too, to be honest. Trophies of Fenris is your classic, hey, you get relics, stupid, pretty easy stuff there. Cunning of the Wolf, 1 CP, use the stratagem during deployment. This is your outflanker. When setting up a Space Wolf infantry unit, you can set up this unit on the hunt instead of placing it on the battlefield. At the end of any of your movement phases, the unit can join the battle. Set it up so it's wholly within 6 of any battlefield edge of your choice.
Oh, I missed that. So at the end of any of your movement phases, so this unit did not start on the table.
Yep. So it cannot happen round 1.
So it cannot happen round 1.
It says use a stratagem during deployment.
Yeah, but
setting up. But
they show up in the end of their first movement phase, which means that they don't get the special wording that the beta FAQ allows people like Fort operators to use. Because their wording sets up in the first battle round before anyone goes, not at the end of one of my movement phase. This is basically Tidal Trader's Deep Strike, but but it's because you're doing the deployment and you don't get to do it until the end of your next movement phase. You're not on the table. So this is a turn 2 situation, from what I understand.
There it is.
Still has play. Don't get it twisted. I mean, beta striking is super powerful.
Mentor's Guidance, it's a 1 CP stratagem. Use it in your shooting phase or in the fight phase. Choose a Space Wolf character within 6 of a Wolf Priest, not a Wolf Priest himself. You can reroll all failed wound rolls for that character in this phase. So
just for a character, you said?
Just for a character, yeah.
It's useful. Yeah, if I got a bad motherfucker.
It's for a character that's within 6 inches of a Wolf Priest?
Of a Wolf Priest, yeah.
So again, why are we
restriction?
It's restrictions. What is with this? From Warlord traits to stratagems, you get this if this happens. This is uncharacteristic.
But it's because I believe it's not good to put all these new conditions on stratagems. But it also so far so good as far as Space Wolf narrative. Like they're known for remember they used to be the only codex that could take more than 2 HQs. Like they're basically saying like this is Space Wolf style, and I'm like it is Space Wolf style, but I'd like to see some less stipulations on stratagems, which is what the game is about.
Mm-hmm. Speed of Space Wolf style, Lone Wolf, 1 CP. Use it at the end of any phase. There's a Space Wolf infantry unit from your army other than a character, servitor, or wolfen that has been reduced to a single model. That model's wounds characteristic is increased by 2. And it gains what?
It goes up to full strength, is what they're saying.
And
so like, because the one, you see,
okay.
so basically, if the last Grey Hunter in your squad, you play this, he has 3 wounds now.
Yep.
Does he get anything else? Also?
Well, it becomes a character, and you can reroll failed hit and wound rolls for the remainder of the game. So,
that's kind of cool.
This is it's Space Wolf style. It's one I wanted to get really excited about, but I mean, on the table, I'm not seeing a lot of great.
No, it's a narrative. It's a narrative stratagem. It's, hey, this guy's entire pack got killed, and he's gonna make a stand of it now. He's gonna go out fighting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I assume that these Grey Hunter squads or blood or Sky Claws can take like a dude in there with a power fist at least or some shit.
I think they can have a Wolfguard Wolfguard duder in there because otherwise they have to like charge the nearest thing or something.
Like that dude's a part of the unit. Is he a character though?
No, let's find out.
Oh, Wolfguard Battle Leader is the sergeant upgrade. That's right. That's their sergeants.
Yeah.
So if you can stick that dude in there and he can be kind of decked out, maybe this is cool.
If he's not,
still very situational. Has play because believe this. If I got one guy left in the squad, he's got a power fist, and I have a CP, I'm playing this shit. So obviously, this play.
I could definitely see people taking a lot of blood claws. Unfortunately, they are direct only from Games Workshop. You can no longer get them in stores.
And I have another question for you. Didn't you just say that was infantry unit?
Yeah, infantry only. So like Sky Claws are infantry, but bikes aren't.
Yeah. So blood claws. Blood claws will work, but not Sky Claws or
jump troop people are infantry.
Are infantry.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, they have the infantry keyword.
So next up is Chooser of the Slain.
You can tell how up to date I am on the game right now. Like I said earlier, I'm Jon Snow in this MFR.
Well, we all have a purpose, Haspel. Chooser of the Slain. This one's interesting. Previously, the Little Raven on Niall's.
I want to go back in time. Someone in chat. We normally don't talk chat. Long Fangs. That dude, you can make the last dude in the Long Fang squad become a character last cannon who rerolls everything. I suddenly like this more.
Well, except that if that Long Fang is using that, something's already eating your Long Fang squad's face, which means he's gonna die.
Right, but no, he's a character. You're not. That's it. Like if you leave one Long Fang guy alive, like if the guy shoots up and the way you placed your models, you made a clutch save and there's one last cannon alive, he's gonna become a character now, therefore untargetable, and as a last cannon gets to re-roll it.
Yep.
Okay.
Like that is far better use of this than a guy up in the forward field with a power fist. Like a las cannon that's going to be shooting the rest of the game that you're never going to target. I'm with that.
Chooser of the Slain, the stratagem immediately after your opponent sets up a unit that is arriving on the battlefield as reinforcements and is visible to the Rune Priest from your army, a Rune Priest. A single friendly unit within 6 of that Rune Priest can immediately shoot at the enemy unit as if it were the shooting phase, but you must subtract 1 from hit rolls when it does so.
All I heard was a unit does a unit, and then another unit, and then that unit, if its cousin's brother's unit is nearby, gets to shoot at -1. Did I hear that correctly?
Basically. So it's kind of like Auspex Scan, except for
shitty.
You just need line of sight, and you need a unit within 6 inches of the Rune Priest that can see them.
So it's very similar to the Eldar version. So, okay.
Yes.
I mean, I'm with it. It doesn't seem that bad when it's in the Eldar book because there is not that many things that have stipulations. But yet again, here we are. If something happens, then you can have a cool benefit.
Mm-hmm. Oh. So next up is Olaf in the Face of Death. This will probably see a little bit more play. Use a stratagem in the fight phase. Choose a Space Wolf, Infantry, Biker, or Cab unit from your army that is affected by an enemy unit's ability that modifies their leadership. Nope, never mind. You can reroll all fail hit rolls for Space Wolves units this phase.
No, this is just in close combat.
No, long fangs got their own one. So this one is if they are affected by an enemy unit's ability that modifies their leadership, you can reroll all failed hit rolls in the fight phase.
Oh, this is garbage.
So this is literally
this is fucking awful. Another stipulation based strategy.
Another stipulation. If my unit is hit by a -1 leadership or take the worst leadership, then I have to remember to use this stratagem. This might be the worst one ever.
1 CP overwhelming savagery. Use a stratagem in the fight phase. Choose a unit of Thunderwolf cavalry from your army. You can reroll wound rolls of 1 for that unit in this phase.
That's good because Thunderwolves are not infantry. That's good. I think that because there's a whole bunch of dudes that make you do that right now. Is the Wolfguard battle leader, his infantry only gets to reroll the ones on ones?
I think it is. I think all the Jarls say the same thing.
If their shit is all infantry and not Space Wolf units, if their shit's all infantry, this is good. If their shit says all Space Wolf units, another garbage stratagem.
No, I will, Kenny, I agree with you, but I have to admit, I'm glad that it's in your arsenal because how many times when you're building an army list, on paper, it sounds like they're always going to be hip checked together, a Wolfguard battle leader and the Thundercav. But there's also so many times where you want to peel a character off. You want to go, solo something yourself. And this unit has just got to Big Dick Bandit, alone for a little bit. So I like the fact that this is in their arsenal. And furthermore, this is something that Blood Angels don't have access to. So I can actually kind of get behind the stratagem a little bit.
It's very weird because the Wolfguard battle leader on Thunderwolf, they all have the Huskarl to the Jarl.
The Heezy to the Jeezy?
Yep, the Heezy to the Jeezy. You can reroll wound rolls of 1 for friendly Space Wolves within 6. So
see, it gets a little bit less useful, but still juices points valid. If you need to peel them off, this stratagem exists, but it's a little redundant considering that this army is going to be an army of characters, letting us essentially reroll everything anyway.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's a soft J, like yogging.
Yogging.
Apparently, you just run for an extended period of time.
So it's Jarl.
Jarl. Okay. Howl of the Great Pack, 2 CPs. Use a stratagem at the beginning of your morale phase. Choose a Wolf Lord from your army. Friendly Space Wolves within 12 of that model must automatically pass morale tests this phase.
There's a good one.
And your opponent must add 1 to morale tests taken by enemy units within 12 of that model.
There's a good one if these guys didn't have Initiative No Fear already.
Womp womp.
That only matters if you're taking like 20-man squads.
Which right? You might with Blood Claws.
And you might. So this guy is only cool if you're taking multiple 20-man squads, not even one. Because you said it was 2 CP, right?
Yeah.
So 2 CP is also the auto pass morale stratagem. So this is only as good if you have a couple of fucking beefy squads around them.
Right.
Otherwise, 10-man squads of Space Marines, I've never seen those motherfuckers lose a guy. You know what I mean?
Not going to happen. Leadership 8, and they get to re-roll it.
I don't know. True Grit, returning from chapter approved. 1 CP, use the stratagem in your shooting phase. Choose a Space Wolf infantry unit from your army that is within 1 of an enemy unit in this phase. Models in that unit can fire their auto bolt rifles, bolt guns, bolt rifles, and bolt carbines as if they had the pistol 2 type. Models that do so cannot fire any other pistols this phase, especially plasma pistols.
Yeah, that was their chapter approval. It's also situational, but yet useful. If I find myself in that situation and that's the way out, I'll use that stratagem all day.
Now, this one's interesting, and I'll let y'all weigh in on it because I know what you're going to think. Seeking a Saga, 1 CP. Use a stratagem at the beginning of the fight phase. Choose a Space Wolf character from your army that is within 1 of an enemy unit with a greater power rating than that character. You can re-roll failed wound rolls for the attacks made by that character against the enemy unit.
So see previous statement about how I already have my Space Wolf list innately is going to have re-roll redundancy built into it in the army list. So every stratagem you give me that gives me that matters a little bit less. But this does matter if the dude has a Thunderhammer, right? And a dude is, a Baneblade. So he's T8. So now I'm wounding him on 4s. I'm hitting him on 2s because I'm a Space Wolf, right? So my Thunderhammer is like 2s, reroll 1s, wounding out 4s, but I get to reroll all wounds. This situation makes it useful.
Oh, yeah. Especially with a higher power rating.
Yeah. So that is useful in that situation. So this really makes the Space Wolf Slam Captain a little stronger at Slam Captain duties.
You said duty, right?
Yeah. That checks out. I don't see anything unreasonable about that statement.
The Wolf's Eye, 1 CP. This is the Long Fang one. Use the stratagem in your shooting phase when a unit of Long Fangs from your army is chosen to make its attacks. You can reroll either failed hit rolls or failed wound rolls for the unit in this phase.
Yes.
In that phase, whatever.
This is the foundation of a Robbie G Wolf aided Long Fang squad, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is how you get the firepower. You're going to see 1 million spearhead detachments that consists of a Wolfguard battle leader or character of your choice, followed by 3 Longfang units because of all the reroll stacks plus rerolled wound and future stratagems that are coming up. Yeah,
because here's the thing is that it's no secret, right? I love, and a lot of people do, Space Marine Devastator squads are still pretty good, especially with all the Space Marine tricks, right? Space Marines have reroll to 1 bubbles, reroll to 1 to wound bubbles from the captain and lieutenant. So that's there in the Space Wolves too. So you have 3 long phase squads, 3 Devastator squads. They're going to reroll 1s to hit, reroll 1s to wound, innately, almost every configuration, right? Simultaneously, they have other cool stratagems, and Space Wolves also have access to them, like they have the one where your bolter does mortal wounds, the one where your missile does mortal wounds. So you can still create these really interesting Devastator squads where you have like 2 las cannons, a missile, and a heavy bolter. So you can be like, let me just bang out the stratagem to do mortal wounds on this one, the mortal wounds on this one. This unit's going to do reroll hits. This unit's going to reroll ones on hit and wounds. So like, I feel like there's going to be more tactical flexibility and more available stratagems, and you're going to be able to unlock potentially these new awesome Space Wolf Slamginiuses. So I can see myself, if I was competitive and I wanted Space Wolves in my army, I could see myself playing it. From what we've discussed so far, this is the only thing I like is long phase.
1 CP Talismanic Shield. Use a stratagem at the beginning of your opponent's psychic phase. Choose a Space Wolf character from your army. That character can attempt to deny 1 psychic power as if they were a psyker.
1 CP?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe. If like it literally comes down to you not warp timing and I'm going to win this fucking game.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Like, to be honest, can I just always spend 1 CP in every army as a universal special rule to try to stop a psychic ability? I'll do that every game.
Yep. 100%. Next up is Armor of Contempt. Use the stratagem when a Space Wolf vehicle from your army suffers a mortal wound. Roll a d6 for that mortal wound. Each other mortal wound inflicted on this model for the rest of the phase. On a 5-up, that mortal wound is ignored.
That's universal.
Never mind.
That's universal.
Hellfire Shells, also universal. Oh, this one's good. Living Storm. Use the stratagem 1 CP. If a Space Wolf Psyker from your army is within 6 of 2 other friendly Space Wolf Psykers that manifest a living lightning psychic power, whenever the power would inflict D3 mortal wounds, it instead inflicts D6.
Oh, I like that.
It's a little bit better.
I can find that being useful. But you said I need a total of 3 Psykers to make that work?
Not only do you need 3 in your army, they have to be within 6 inches of one another.
I'm going to backpedal out of my statement.
And for anybody who doesn't know, Castellan Knights are a thing. And if you're telling me you have a cool special ability that happens that will nuke me, if you have 3 character hobos standing next to one another, guess where my Seeker Missile of Doom goes to? One of your 4 wound characters.
Yeah.
Now you don't get to do your cool
shit. You don't get to do same thing with like Lionbreaker, Bombardment, or whatever, Kill Shot. Like, you need 3 Predators. Damn, I lost a Predator. I will never get to do this.
Derelict 10 Infantry. 1 CP Keen Senses. Use the stratagem in your shooting phase. Choose a Space Wolf unit from your army. That unit doesn't suffer any penalties to its hit rolls this phase.
Single best stratagem that I've heard of. in this book so far. That is for 1 CP, nonetheless.
Mhm.
So we've already honed in that long fangs are the jam. So now you're telling me long fangs are rerolling to hit, rerolling to wound with some form of fashion, whether it's a character or stratagems. Now you're telling me I'm not taking minuses to hit. So AKA your Alatak Eldar Flyer that's -2 to hit is no longer.
That squad I just preached is perfect. Hellfire round, flak missile stratagems. That's 1 CP, 1 CP. So that's two D3 mortal wounds, right? Rerolling hits, and one of them is going to hit on +1 if it's a flyer, right? If you should, let's say you shoot at something that's fly keyword, right? So potentially, if you're shooting someone with fly keyword, 2 D3 mortal wounds that aren't missing, then your 2 las cannons that aren't missing are also rerolling their wounds. So like literally, what are you doing? Like an average of 10 plus mortal or 10 plus wounds are going to get through potentially.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, there's a lot of depending on there's a stratagem for everything for shooting for these long fangs. There's like reroll ones to hit, then there's like innate reroll ones to hit, then there's reroll all wounds, and there's ignore penalties, and also you can dig into the Space Marine basic Space Marine ones.
Yeah. So I don't even know why I have to ask this question now. Robbie B, will you do me a favor? Can we check something?
Sure.
Can you tell me if long fangs have 5 weapons options to their units, or are they restricted to only 4 like other Space Marine chapters? Hassel is going to be ultimately sad if they took away the 5th one.
Yeah. They used to be able to take 5 because I used to run back in the day the 3 missile launchers, 2 las cannon option.
No, that was one of my favorites, and also they had split fire. So I definitely want to go back in the comment again. It's a unique night. Hell blasters, I forgot about them. Now that the Space Wolves have hell blasters.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, hell blasters. So are these long fang only? Is like ignore minuses to hit long fang only, or is that?
No, that's infantry.
No, it's just to choose a Space Wolf unit. So long fangs, you can get 4 neuters.
So go to the
Wait, hold on. It can also include 1 additional long fang. It can also include either a Wolfguard pack leader or a Wolfguard Terminator pack leader. So I guess you can have 6.
Go to the pack leader and tell me if the pack leader can have a heavy weapon.
No, he cannot. But
the entire chat seems to believe it's 5.
Yeah, you can have 5 because you take 4 and you can add an additional 1. You can also add a battle leader, so you can have up to 6 models, 5 of which can have weapons.
That's really good.
All
So
right.
they kept, so they kept the 5 weapon profile. So yeah, long fangs are looking strong.
No, yeah, I like it. And the only reason why I say for Hellblasters, obviously Hellblasters is the choice of all, but they're still not better than Weapons of the Dark Age for Dark Angels. That's the best Hellblaster there is. Give me Azrael, a lieutenant, and Weapons of the Dark Age, best Hellblasters.
Mm-hmm.
Until you're hit with a -2 to hit restriction and you lose 4 of your Hellblasters.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like this, that's what I love about this.
No. It's definitely got play, but like the only thing I don't like about it is that if you're not -2, depending on how far you are away, you're only really doing 1, maybe 2 damage, depending on if you're overcharging or not.
That's what I'm saying is like I'd like to see at least 1 Hellblaster squad mixed in, because like they're good in almost every situation, and now when a situation arises, you have this new level of power to introduce to them.
Mm-hmm.
Could definitely see that. Something else to consider too is the aggressors could be outflanked and just appear 9 inches away suddenly, because that's why people were taking the Death Watch once, right? Because they deep struck.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't use the flamers because you'll be out of range at 8 inches, but you can use what is the other thing? The auto bolt rifle,
Frag cannons.
frag cannon thing. Yeah, whatever.
Oh no, that's the what's it called. But yeah, I mean, I like it. And for anybody who's a diehard Space Marine player, or excuse me, Space Wolf player, and wants to add some Primaris into the army, this is definitely an option. But obviously, if you're a Primaris army and you're trying to figure out what chapter is most advantageous for you, again, it's so tough to say, I'll just take a deep strike mechanic that doesn't have a specification to say that I have to be within 6 inches of a board edge.
Yeah. That's the worst part about that. It's not really deep striking. You like it's tied to traders, which is very restrictive.
Yeah, you gotta come in 6 inches from the board edge, like we said. Exactly. Next up is a fluffy one, the Emperor's Executioners. Use the stratagem when a Space Wolf unit from your army is chosen to attack in the fight phase. Each time you make a hit roll of a 4 for a model of that unit during the phase, it can, if it was targeting a 1,000 Suns unit, immediately make one extra attack against the same unit using the same weapons. These extra attacks cannot generate further attacks. Could come in handy, I guess.
Yeah, sure. I wish they would lift that rule. Kenny, give me the go, no go for launch. Anything that could generate extra attacks, I'd like to see it go infinite.
No, because there's way too many ways to exploit it. Like for example, Abaddon, he has his warlord trait makes a trigger on a 5, and then if you pressures him, it triggers on a 4, and then if you use the demon weapon, is D6 extra attacks, so potentially 12 attacks. He throws 12 dice in the air, hits on 2s, rerolls 1s, all 4s generate new attacks. Those hit on 2s, reroll 1s, generate new attacks. There are going to be combos where this might be too much.
So I absolutely agree. The only thing that I could say is Abaddon, there's only one. He is the despoiler. And in all reality, anybody that he rolls up on, he should demolish.
I can get behind that. I just commissioned an Abaddon from White Metal Games. So I'm 100%. I'm with it.
This one's interesting. 3 CP. Use the stratagem at the end of the fight phase. Select a Space Wolf infantry, biker, or cavalry unit from your army. That unit can immediately fight. Wait, nope, that's Untitled Chapter. We know what that does. And then line breaker bombardment. I was thinking of something else. So those are all of them. I did want to mention a relic that's juicy that I forgot to mention. The Wolfenstone is pretty tight. You can make one additional attack for a model in a friendly Space Wolf infantry, biker, or cav units that's within 3 of the bearer when they make their attacks in the fight phase. Units of Wolfen are not affected, nor are units that make a charge while within range of the Curse of the Wolfen hunt ability earlier in the turn. In addition, a unit cannot be affected by both kill and the Wolfenstone in the same fight phase because they just stack attacks like crazy.
So wait, this is extra attacks for a unit that's not benefiting from my plethora of other +1 attack abilities?
Correct. If you don't go Wolfen, yeah.
How many CP?
It's a relic.
Oh, it's the relic. So this is occupies a relic spot? Maybe. I mean, we'll see. If I build for it, yeah.
I think it's a build for sure.
Well, I mean, I'm down for anything that gives me buffs. Like
right.
So it's a buff. It's or like a unit buff, like not just like I'm a bad motherfucker. Like I like relics that have more tactical play.
Yep. So those are the big ones that weren't duplicated, of course, with the generic Space Marine stratagems, and of course we mixed in 2 relics there. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Space Wolf Codex.
Haspel.
I'm firmly in the meh column.
I support you in that. It's meh. It sucks that the only things I like about it are gonna include just the shooting elements and potentially 2 or 3. I mean, all I'm gonna play is Wolfguard Battle Leaders, Jump Packs, Hammer Storm Shield, and fucking Long Bangs. That's it.
I mean, I agree. I think that's the obvious choice. I mean, they do leave some options there, fluff wise, to do some cool interactions. And you can mix in the Primaris, if you have Space Wolf and you just want to be like, yo, let me throw some Space Wolves in here. Cool. Let me get some aggressors. All right, cool. But overall, I feel like you're kind of forced just to take some other stuff or mix them into other things.
Well, the army, it's very narrative. It's very fluffy. It feels like Space Wolves. There is some competitive play. It's just not, it's definitely because the old Space Wolf Codex that we all remember, like how amazing that was. It's not that. It's not exciting. It's not Dark Eldar exciting. It's not like all these. Dark Eldar got a list of stratagems that are amazing. Like Vect aside, with my opinions on that, they got a list of very exciting stratagems. Whereas Space Wolves got a list of they that almost exciting stratagems. So that's sad.
Yeah, seems kind of mediocre. I was so high on them last week. I just knew that this was going to be the book to bring Haspel out of his retirement. But I will know further tomorrow as I dive deep into it to find all the nuggets that are there to be found.
I mean,
yeah, this is all without us actually holding the book and going crazy and theory crafting. With what the information we have right now, that's the opinion. But this could change. Remember when we said, man, what was it? We said something was super meh. Oh, Ahab. We were like, oh, Ahab is definitely the knight. Remember?
Yeah, and the Castellan is not the one.
'Twas the reverse. He was not the knight. He was the one who was the ball licker.
yeah. I mean, even cavalry swinging again for a second time is pretty tight for 3 CPs. You know, the Thunderwolves. I mean, there's traditional ways you can still play them. You're just not going to run across the board in one turn.
Yeah, hell, and I like the fact that Space Wolves get to swing again without having the stipulation to say if you kill a model, you can spend 3 CP and swing again. That was a little troll.
Can't stop, won't stop. Haspel, take us out.
The All-Father wove the skein of your life a long time ago. Go and hide in a hole if you wish, but you won't live one instant longer. Your fate is fixed. Fear profits a man nothing.